Hello and welcome to Friday's second edition of Cracking the Cryptic. First edition was a crossword video earlier on. And we're going to be having a look at a puzzle called Global Warming. And it's by Bridget, which Bridget always spells her name BR1312TE. So I'm never quite sure whether I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I do know that I love Bridget's puzzles. Her puzzles are always... they're unusual in the same way that sort of Marty Sears puzzles are unusual, or who's the other one? Jeff Wages is another one, whose brains just seem to be able to sort of dislocate from normal thinking and come up with things that are really unusual. I've never seen this rule set before. I mean, it builds on normal thermometer rules, but it's got a weird global, well, not even a global entropy constraint. But something that applies within this red cage. Oh, there's another red cage there. So anyway, I'll read the rules of this in a moment or two's time. It's got 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty. So hopefully not too monstrous. But you never know until you get solving. Oh, by the way, do check out that puzzle I did yesterday as well. We're just in halcyon days. I mean, I could recommend any puzzle, basically, for the last several years. But yesterday's puzzle by Dorlir I thought was incredible. Really original logic. It's called Lockdown. I should have actually got it on one of my millions of tabs I've got open, but I don't at the moment. So anyway, check that one out. I mentioned there was a crossword video earlier. If you do enjoy cryptic crossword content, check that out. That's a wonderful puzzle by Ed Hall. And I'm hoping, I don't know if I dare mention this, I'm hoping there might be a bonus crossword video on the channel very soon featuring a very well-known chess grandmaster. If that happens, I'll be so stoked. Anyway, so hopefully that's going to happen very soon as well. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much as well to all those of you who have been tweeting at us. What's it called when you Instagram message people? Is it mentioning? I'm not sure. But we've had loads of messages because all of the big tech companies are currently doing their wrap-ups for the year. So if you're on Spotify, for example, you might have had your wrap-up for the year, which tells you which song you watched or listened to the most, and it might have given you your listening age. Mine was 66. So I'm a lot. My listening age is a lot older than my. I actually think though that my true listening age should be I should be even higher than that, because I listened to quite a lot of Greta Van Fleet this year, and they're basically Led Zeppelin, aren't they? But they're modern, so I don't think Spotify takes that into account in its computation. So, but anyway, that's by the by. So all the tech companies are doing these wrap-ups, and you're all being told which YouTube channels you watch the most. And some of you have watched a lot of Cracking the Cryptic, and we're high on your lists, if not top. And you've been letting us know, and it's been amazing. I mean, we've had dozens and dozens of people who've watched many hundreds of our videos. It's incredible. I'm going to shout out Evan. Evan, you're the top number I've seen for how many Cracking the Cryptic videos Evan watched this year. 710. 710 in the top 0.1% of our viewers. Evan, thank you for doing that, and thanks to all those of you. Obviously, anyone watching, thank you for watching these videos. We really do appreciate it. It's an extraordinary thing, solving these puzzles. An absolute privilege, and for all those of you who join us on this journey, even if it's just for one day, we are very grateful, and we love sharing the puzzles with you. Anyway, Evan, you're top so far. Maybe I'll get other emails that say no. Evan hardly watched any. We'll see. Anyway, what else can I mention? Wind in the Willows. This is our monthly competition over on Patreon right now for the month of December. Loads of time left if you want to enter this. It closes on the 20th, and let's see, we were at 1,178 and 172. So let's refresh. There's nearly 1,246 souls of all 13 puzzles. The idea is to help Mole with his advent calendar. And you can see the chapter headings there. These are all puzzles as well as chapter headings from the book. And we're delighted so many of you are enjoying that. So check it out. You will enjoy it. Actually, there's another bonus video on Patreon. We get a lot of requests to investigate people's Wordle follow-ups. So there are loads of people trying to find or invent the new Wordle, coming up with word games and all sorts of things. And Mark's taken a couple of those that we particularly liked, and he solved a few of those over on Patreon as well, so check those out too. Very interesting stuff, and may become regular. You never know. Now let's do some birthdays as well. Let me look at my birthday list. Carolyn, you've turned 83 today. I know you've been watching for many years now as well. And you've been loving our new app, Classic Sudoku 2. Thank you for trying it, and I completely understand why you're enjoying it. Some of the puzzles in that are incredible. And thank you for the warm words as well. Carolyn thought we'd have got to 750,000 subscribers by now. No, no, we haven't done it. We need more help. From people to reach those loftier goals. I think, to be honest, the only way that will happen is if somebody very famous admits that they watch us. It becomes more acceptable. I think that could happen. But otherwise, we're at the behest of the YouTube algorithm. And that's never a puzzle we've never understood. But anyway, Carolyn, I hope you have a brilliant birthday today. Many happy returns over there in Mesquite, if I'm not mistaken, in Nevada. I think that's right. I hope I haven't messed up. But we'll go from Nevada, which I'm sure is a lot warmer than Surrey at the moment. We'll go from Nevada to Herne in Germany. Is it Herne or is it Herne? I think Herne, maybe, where Jacobus. It's your birthday today, and I know this because your partner Christina wrote to tell us that you don't miss an episode. So thank you for doing that. That's brilliant. And you also love problem solving in real life. I'm quite envious of that. I am terrible. I am absolutely hopeless. I'm like that Far Side cartoon where the school for the gifted, and there's a door that says pull, and the guy's pushing it. And I am. Anyway, enough about my limitations. Jacobus, I hope you have a brilliant birthday today, and I hope the chocolate cake is mighty fine. And then we'll go from Germany to Brooklyn, New York, and wish James a very happy 32nd birthday. And James, I know it's your birthday because your partner Ange wrote to me. And I think the two of you came originally for the crosswords, but have stayed for the sudokus. That's great. I love it when people assume they won't like something, and then they just take a look at it for a while, and they think, actually, that's quite interesting. And then before you know it, you've got a very, very healthy new hobby. James, happy birthday. I hope the chocolate cake is very fine indeed. Now, let's have a look. Global Warming by Bridget, and I'll read you the rules. It looks like normal Sudoku. It doesn't say normal Sudoku rules, but the first sentence does seem to be normal Sudoku rules. Place the digits 1 to 9 in each row, column and box. So presumably that's once each. I'm going to assume that. So we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Compound thermometers. Box borders split grey thermometer lines into segments. Starting from the bulb, the sum of each segment must increase. Right, so this is a really interesting rule. So that means what we do is we add those up. We add these up. Well, we can't add that up, but we take whatever value that is. Take whatever values those three are. 4 up there. So you add purple up and you get a number, and then the sum of green has to be more than purple but less than blue, and the sum of orange has to be more than blue but less than red. So that is, I think, how a sort of this compound thermometer rule works. Additionally, within each segment, or let's go back, within each segment, starting from the original bulb, digits must also increase. Right, so this is like its own mini thermometer. So this is lower than this, is lower than this. So digits are going to rise from here to here. And then this one is going to be the smallest digit on this green thermometer. And on the orange thermometer, that one's the smallest. Then it goes up to this one, then up to that one, etc. So that is a very, very unusual rule. But we haven't finished the unusual rules. Entropy zones. Within red cages, so that's that one, and this enormous one down here, which I think is all of those cells, each, no, it just actually says every 2 by 2 set square of cells must contain a low digit, a 1, 2, 3, a medium digit, a 4, 5, 6, and a high digit, a 7, 8, 9. Star. Incomplete squares, such as in the bend, are exempt. Right, so what that's saying is that is, oh, I see, right. So that's saying that in this 2 by 2, you don't have to obey that rule, because one of its cells is not in the cage. But you would have to obey it for that one, because all of those cells are in the cage. And then we've got Kropki dots. Digits connected by a white dot are consecutive. So if this was 2, this would have to be 1 or 3 to be consecutive with 2. And digits connected by a black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio, which means one digit will be double the other. So if this is 4, this digit's either 2, because 4 is double 2, or it's 8, because 8 is double 4. And those are all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. I think I'm actually going to... start using this cell, actually. Because one thing I know about this cell, it's not a very, very good thing, but I know this cell is a single digit. So I think we've got an arrow thing, haven't we? The minimum sum those could have would be if they were 1, 2, and 3, which add up to 6. So this one has to add up to more than 6. So let's say 7. And this one has to add up to more than 7, but still be a single digit total. So that is an 8 or a 9. And then everything's going to explode, because I mean that could be a 24. I mean, I'm not thinking about the entropy rule at the moment, but it probably could be a 24. And then that's a 4-cell sequence, so that could be a 30 if it was 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it could be a 6. I was just thinking I could maybe disprove it on that 2 by 2, but if that was a low digit, I very much couldn't. That would be a middly digit. These would both be high, and that 2 by 2 would have one of each. So I can't disprove that is. It probably is 30. Right, but... okay, so... well, this one can't be less than 6, but it can't be more than 7. Because if it was 8, that would be 9, and that would have to be 10. So this is either 6 or 7, and that's very restricting, because 3 cells in Sudoku that add up to either 6 or 7 must involve 1 and 2, and then either 3 or 4. The good thing about that is that this is a thermometer within its box. So as I know that this contains 1 and 2, I can put those in, I think. 1, 2... and then this is 3 or 4. And then this one is a minimum of 7. Oh, I see. Yeah, and a maximum of 8. It can't be bigger than 8, so it must have a 1 in the 3-cell sequence. If you didn't include a 1 in a 3-cell sequence, the minimum it could be would be 2 plus 3 plus 4, and that's 9. Which would make this 10 again. So that's got to be a 1 because it operates like a thermo. But this one I don't think does have to be a 2. That might be wrong. I think it has to be a 2 or a 3. If it's a 3 and this is a 4, that's fine, isn't it? Because they would add up to 8. And then that could be a 9. But this digit, the maximum it could be would be 5. If this is 1, 2, 5. Oh, Bitdefender, that's doing an update. Hopefully it's not going to reset my computer. And the minimum this could be, if this is that got to be 4 or 5 then? Because we've got to ascend. I don't think this can be a 3, because that would make this segment 1, 2, 3. Adding up to 6, which this one wouldn't be lower than. That can't be 6, because then this would add up to 9 at least. Right, so I know what we should do. What we should do now is to establish some colours, which I always enjoy doing. So let's choose some colours for these entropy thingies. So let's have a cool colour, which we'll make blue, shall we? So that one, that one, that one, and that one are all definitely from the 1, 2, 3 set. 4 or 5 is definitely a middly digit. So we'll make that green. And then this one is definitely high. I'll make that hot, which is orange. The sunshine that don't live here anymore. Right. What does that mean? Well, I can see that within that 2 by 2, I need to have a medium and an orange. So I need to have a green and an orange. And the same is true there. I need to have an orange in one of those, but not necessarily both. Oh, it's no, it's going to be that weird thing, isn't it? Okay. Oh no, that doesn't work actually. Well, I'll mention it in case it matters. But this 2 by 2 doesn't have a blue. So one of these is a blue. And that means these ones are all definitely not blue. So they're all either green or orange. I know exactly what Mark would do here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 into those. I'm not doing it. Wow, okay. So how do we do this then? I don't know. I've not got any good ideas. Oh, there we go. Right, I've got something else. Right, Sudoku. I mean, it's very rare for me to resort to Sudoku, but needs must. Where is 1 in box 9? And the answer is I don't think it can go on the black dot, because 1 only has 1 partner then, and that's going to have to be a 2, and that's going to cause a clash. So I think that's a 1, which is a blue. So this is a 1 by that fair-weathered friend, Sudoku. Okay. So there has to be... okay, so there has to be a middly on this white dot. That's interesting, surely. Because I've not had a middly in this 2 by 2. So one of these digits at least is 4, 5 or 6. And it's either 2 greens, in which case they're both from 4, 5, 6, or you could spill out in one direction. Either if this was a 3, 4 pair, or if this was a 6, 7 pair. Now, what does that mean? So I need to... Oh, yes. No, I do see, actually. That's really lovely. Okay, so look at these digits. Now I'm wrong. I'm wrong! Oh, no. No, I am wrong. I thought I could make this low, but I can't. Because if this is 3, 4, then I've already got my low and my middly. Oh, gosh, I don't know. So what do I do? Okay, what's this? Does that have to be middly or high? And that's on a white dot as well. It's got to be more than this. That's definitely true. That's interesting. I'm not actually sure that's true either. No, it is true. It is true. You can't make this a 4. It looks like you can. It does look like you can, but I don't think you can. Because if you make this a 4, what's this white dot now? Because this is a 4, this, from a thermo perspective, this digit is lower than 4. But we need a middly in here, so it has to be a 3-4 pair, and then that can't be a 4. So this is at least a 5. So that's 5, 6, 7, or 8. It can't be more than 8, because this needs to have some room to grow. So that cell is 6, 7, 8, or 9. And this white dot... Oh, I've got to be very careful here. So this white dot, I mean, it's a disgraceful pencil mark, but let me just make it, because what I'm trying to do is to think about low digits in this box. Yes, and that is a good thing to think about, because what is that? That has to be low. It can't be, because that 2 by 2 needs a low. Now in this 2 by 2, one of these two is a low. I don't think I know which one. But one of them has to be a low. And then this 2 by 2 doesn't have a low, so one of those is a low. Now what about if that was 4? Can we rule 4 out of that? Yes. It's the same sort of logic. It's weird. If this is a 4, that is a 4-5 pair. And this digit is lower than 5, but it's not 4, because we put the 4 there. So this is 3, but we know there has to be a middly, so that becomes 4 again. So we get double 4 there instead. That's really weird. So now... Oh, well, this can't be 9, because if this is 9, that's a 9-8 pair, and there's nothing that can be higher than it on the thermo. So, in fact, that's a good way to think about this. Can this be 8? No, because if this is an 8-7 pair, this is higher than 8-7, and we haven't put a middly in that little congregation of 2 by 2s. This is very unusual. This is a really unusual puzzle. Now, there is a 6 now. Here's a little... if you've been watching the channel, if you've watched it as much as Evan, you will know this already. If you've got a consecutive pair of digits, I mean, this is such a fatuous thing to say, but bear with me. One of the digits is going to be odd, and one of the digits will have to be even. That is the nature of a consecutive pair of digits. And look, in this domino, the only even digit I can put there is a 6. So this is not a 6, and these don't include 6. And if these don't include 6, they definitely don't include 7. And now what's the even digit on this domino? And it's 4, look. This is magnificent. So 4 is, well, 4, no, we don't know. It could be 4, 5, couldn't it? And then that would be 6, 7. No, I'm not going down that. That meme was sort of invented to torture us, I think, on Cracking the Cryptic. I mean, how often do we have to say 6, 7? It's like a lot. Okay, that's definitely high. That is true. Okay. Right. I don't know what that means yet, but hopefully there's got to be a middly, at least one middly in that pairing. That is also a truth, isn't it? There's actually, look at that 2 by 2. There's got to be a low in there. Which feels like it might matter. How do we do this? I don't know. These are different from one another, aren't they? They're one of each. Because this 2 by 2 needs a low and a high. Right, so one of these is a blue. If it was this one, that would cater for this one as well, wouldn't it? That would be fine. Oh, right, one of these has to be blue. So there is a blue in one of those two cells. It would be incredibly useful if it was here. Because if that's a blue connected to a green or an orange, that would have to be 3. Oh, that doesn't work. That's it. Right. This is where we're meant to look. Look at this 2 by 2. Now, if we do try and make this a blue digit, you can see across the white dot it's connected to something from a different entropy set. And the only way we could do that, therefore, is a 3-4 pair. And this little cell gets absolutely decimated by that. So this cannot be blue, and that is blue. And therefore, I know what it is. It's a 3. And therefore, this is not a 3. So that one is a middly. But we don't... I don't think we know what that is. We may do. Oh, that's a middly. Because that 2 by 2 doesn't have a middly. So this is a middly. There is a 4, I think, on this black dot now. And the way I'm seeing that, there are only certain combinations you can put on a black dot relationship in Sudoku, because we need something which is double the other. Oh, I'm getting attacked. Go away. So 1, 2 would have been one option. That's been ruled out. 2, 4, well, that's possible. In fact, it would have to be that specific way round. 3, 6, well, that's ruled out. 4, 8, which looks like it could go either way. So there must be a 4 on this. It's either 2 on top of 4 or it's a 4, 8 in some order, but this digit is now not a 4, so this is 5 or 6. Oh no, that's not true. Oh no, I've got it. If this was a 2, how would you do this 2 by 2? It couldn't have a low digit, so that's not a 2. So this is 4, 8, which means that's a 9, look, by Sudoku. This little combination here needs a 7. I don't know where it goes, but it's got to be in one of those cells. Oh. Well, there's got to be a 2, because there can't be a 1 or a 3 in this congregation of digits. So the 2 is in one of these two cells, and that's lovely. That's going to make that a 3, isn't it? Yeah, that looks logical. So that's 3, that's 4, which means this is 7 now. 7 is a green digit. So this can't add up to... this has got to add up to 8 now. So this has got to be a 4, and that's a green digit. So see, so that's 4 and that's 8, and that's a green digit, and this is a high digit. And we've got, okay, so the segments are going 7, 8, 9. Well, this is going to be way more than 10 already. So we're not going to get much maths as a result of that. But, okay, so there's definitely an orange in one of those. There's definitely a blue in one of those. And how do we do this then? Is this obvious in some way? It probably is. 9 is a bit restricted in box 8. It's got to go into one of those two cells. It can't go here because this would be an 8 across the white dot, and we've already got an 8 in this box. I know there's a 4 on this domino. I know there's a 6 on this domino. Can I can I do anything else here? I don't know. It's probably going to be spotting a... Oh, I'm not sure. I can see that's one of each. Oh, no, it's not. That's not true. But that's one of each. That is definitely an orange and a green, and these are different. 3 is in one of those 3 cells. That's just sudoku. That's nothing clever at all. One of these, at least, is orange. We've got, yeah, I wish I had a way, I don't have it, but I wish I had a way of sort of notating when a 2x2 was finished, if you see what I mean. If I could put a tiny little circle in the middle of the 2x2, just to say don't think about the entropy characteristic anymore, that would be quite useful. Because it's getting a little bit difficult, for me at least, to scan. So I know one of these, at least, is middly. But if you put a middly in the middle, that does all the 2x2s in the box, doesn't it? So whatever goes in the middle of these boxes, it sort of takes the pressure off that colour. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure. It's not this one, is it? It might be. Or... I just don't feel that is under any pressure. I mean, that might be wrong, but... It doesn't feel to me like... I mean, it's got to be... What's the maximum that would be? 21. So it's a 4-cell sequence that has to be 21. I suppose the lowest digit isn't a 2 either, so... Sorry, isn't a 1, so it's at least a 2. I mean, it's not this one, is it? I've not really thought about this one. How does this one work? Yeah, okay, the segments on this one are a bit weird. It's got 3 1-cell segments at the top end. So this... Could that be a 1 and a 2? 1 and a 2 would add up to 3. So this is at least... Oh, hang on. Right, this digit is at least a 5, actually, because I've got a 4 looking at it. So it can't be 4, so that's got to be at least 5, so that's got to be at least 6. And that's got to be at least 7. Because these are all 1-cell segments, it sort of works like a normal thermometer. So 7 is definitely high. Okay, but the biggest... Okay, so the biggest this could be... Whoopsie, I want to just label... The biggest this could be is 7, because this could go 7, 8, 9, I think. So this is 5, 6, or 7. Now, okay, so this digit here is a 1 or a 2 then. Because if this was a 3, even if I kept this down to 4, 3 plus 4 is 7, and this couldn't have a single... There would be no way of making this segment total legitimate. So that digit is 1 or 2, definitely. Hang on. Well, it is blue, but it's not in a red cage, so maybe I shouldn't label it. Ooh, I'm not sure. So the maximum size of these together is 6. So the maximum size of this digit is 5. So that's 5 or 3 or 2. And that is it. That is in the red cage. Ooh, I can't quite see what that means. No, I don't know. Okay, so I need to think harder again. What on earth do we do here? Wait a sec. No, that's wrong. What I was about to say isn't. I was thinking that there might be a relationship between those two cells from an entropy perspective, but I don't think there is. I mean, whatever that is, let's say that was orange, then this is going to be green. That could be anything. That would be green. Then that would be orange. So if that's orange, that's orange, which would be really useful. What about if that's green then? Then that's orange. And then that one's done then, so we don't have to worry about it. I mean, this, is it? I mean, I just don't think it is, but I will. I mean, that is green or orange, just because I've got all my blues in the row. Oh, it's a 2 up here, is it? Yeah, it is actually the digit 2. That would be very useful if I knew that was a 2. Actually, if that was a 2, it really would be useful. Because that would push this up as well to being at least 6. That would make that definitely orange. Okay, I don't know then. Right, so I need to think harder, and I'm not exactly sure where to direct my attention here. What do you think? If this was 5, 6, both of these would be green. Is there a problem with that? This would have to be one of each. If this was double green, this would have to be one of each, so that would be high. If that's green, and this would be low and would have to be 3, it would be very useful actually, wouldn't it? If that's double green. But I don't think it has to be. So maybe the thought is, could this be an orange? If this is orange, that's definitely green, which is fine. This is one of each. I think that would be... Oh, hang on. That's okay. So we get orange, orange, orange here. And that would have to be an 8, which is quite interesting. There's something here. There is something here. I just need to figure it out. Let me mull this over. Hang on. Is there balm in Gilead? Tell me truly, I implore, quoth the raven, nevermore. No, okay, I thought I spotted something then, but I don't think I have. If that is a 6... No, it's more likely to be a problem if that's a 5, isn't it? If that's a 5, that has to be 4. That has to be 3. So we go 5, 4, 3 in a sort of sequence, and that would be a 6. So it goes 6, 5, 4, 3 as a sequence. 6. Now, does that break somehow? 6, 5, 4, 3. No, hang on. Yeah, 6, 5, 4. No, 6, 5, 4, 3. 6, 5, 4, 3. This would have to be a 7 or an 8. Six, 5, 4, 3. This would have to be high, and that would be a 7 or a 9. So these would be the 3 highs. And oh, that doesn't work there. Oh, that's incredibly hard to see. Wow. Yeah, okay. That's very difficult to see, but it is a point. Okay, I don't think this can be 5. And the reason is that because we get a 3 here and 2 high digits here, we get a 1-2 pair which hits this cell and breaks it. Let me show you that slowly. So if this is 5, that's a 4, that's a 3, 5, 4, 3, that's just all forced. This has to be 6 then. And now we need a high in there, that's got to go there. We need a high in here, that's got to go there. So this is low and this is low, and neither of them are 3, and that's going to break. Not a straightforward deduction, actually. So this is now not 5, which means this is now... Oh, that was never 6. Oh, because 6 was on here. Okay. Well, can't I use that logic the same? Isn't that going to be the same if I make this 5? I think it will be, because that will be 5, that will be 6, that will be 4, that will be 3, and I'm in exactly the same position again. So this is a 6-7. Of course it is. What else would it be in this day and age? So that is an 8 or a 9 now. There is so this is high and medium, which is not, now that's not the best thing ever. And I don't think I know the order. I mean, I may do, but I'm not sure. And perhaps... No, I don't think I do know where 3 goes. Yeah, oh, I see. If that was... No, I was going to say maybe I could force the pattern here. If this was a 2, 2, 1, that would be a 3. Then that would have to be a low digit, a 1 or a 2. Does that work? Oh, there's something here that's clean. I know there is, and my brain isn't telling me what it is. Naughty bad brain. Or maybe it's to do with 4 is now not over here, and this is a middly digit. So the lowest digit this is now is a 5. It's not a 7 because I've got a 7 in one of those. So that's 5, 6, 8 or 9. It's not 9 because I know there's a 9 in one of these. So it's now 5, 6 or 8. Now is that doing something? 8 here would go with 7 here, probably. Well, it would. 8, 7, that looks quite realistic, doesn't it? Oh, hang on. Yeah, I suppose. Yes, this digit here is one of those 2 digits. Because whatever it is, from a Sudoku perspective, it's got to go in this box. So, how does that help us, if at all? Don't know. That 2 by 2 is definitely done. There has to, hang on, there has to be a high digit. Oh, that's massive. I didn't spot this. This is a terrible thing. I've been doing the most complicated stuff ever. Look at this. You've all been shouting at me. I know you have, and you're right to. That's not got a big digit in it. So that's the only place the big... Oh, no, hang on. Hang on. I was going to say it has to be here, but that's not true at all, is it? There does need to be a big digit here. And this is a big deduction, I think. I'm just not quite sure. Yeah, I mean, this simply can't be big because of the options. So that has to be big. But now that has to be blue. Yeah, it's that straightforward. And I think I didn't need that complicated stuff that I did with the 1, 2 here, probably. If I'd spotted this was high, then I would know that this was a 3, which would have made this a 4, which means that's not a 3. Now I've got a 1, 2. Oh, this is lovely. Now I've got a 1, 2 pair here and a 3 here. So that digit can't be a low digit. It sees all 3 entropies. So this is a low digit. That is a 1 or a 2. There's a 7 on my white dot. So this is a 9. That's an 8. And this digit is a 5. It just has to be. That's all I've got left to put in. So, oh, look. Now these aren't 5. So that's, oh no, 6 or 7. 6 or 7 again. We can't, well, this can't be a 2 because that would be a 1 and that will break this. So that is not 2. It's 3 or 4. And I have got an actual 1, 2 pair in this row. I'm not sure how much value I can put in that, but this hasn't had a high digit unless I make that a 7. So that is, look, we've finished this, we haven't finished the box completely, but we've finished the shading of the box, which is definitely a win for the goodies. Now, how do we take that forward? 4 is on the top thingy. Up here, can egg 4, 3, 2, 1. No, you see, you can't put the 4 at the top of the thermo because although, oh yeah, well, there's many reasons you can't, but the way I got to the reason you couldn't is the thermo would then be 4, 3, 2, 1 and add up to 10, and this segment adds up to 19, which is a lot more than 10. So the 4 is definitely not. I think the 4 is going to be here probably. If that's the 4, I know we've got 4 cells, haven't we? So it might be possible for that to be a 4. If it is a 4, that has to be a 2, because 1 and 3 are not available. So that digit is either 4 or 2. That's the only options for it. It's a 2 if this is a 4, or it's just a 4 in and of itself. Right. Okay, so now, how do we make more progress with this knowledge? I don't know yet. There's going to be a way, and I've got to try and come up with it, but I haven't got it yet. That digit is not a 4 or a 5 now. And it certainly isn't a 2. So that digit is at least a 6. So it's 6 or 7. It's not 8 or 9, is it? Right. And we definitely... Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. Right. If this was a 5, then on the white dot this would be a 6, and that little congregation has no high digit. So this is not a 5. And now we can ask, what's the odd digit that appears in this consecutive pair? The only odd digit available now is 7, and it's got to go there. So that's a 7. That's high. This one, I don't know if I know what that is actually. And these are from 2, 5, 6. And that one is not a 6. Which, so, oh lovely, yeah, okay. So where's 9 in this column? Well, it's not down here. It's on this thermo, so it must be at the top of the thermo because I'm allowed to view that as a thermo. So this 2, 4, 5, 6. So in theory, this digit is 2, 4, 5, 6. It's certainly not 2 in its position. It could be 4. So it's definitely middly. That is indisputable. This is definitely high. Now, right, so one of those has to be low, and it's definitely not the one between a middly and a high, so that's a low. That's actually therefore a 1 or a 2, look. Okay, so now these, one of those is a 6 now. Well, this is just a 6, 8 pair. Sorry, that's obvious to everybody, but that's true. That's sudoku, so this isn't a 6. Right, and okay, now this congregation needs to have a low digit, and that's got to be there. So that is 2, that's 4, that's blue. We are going to get high enough here, aren't we? What do we have to beat? 19. We're on 50. Yeah, it doesn't matter what this is. We're on 15 and we're adding 6 or 8 to it. So we're fine there. This is a 1 because this became a 2. So that's a 2 and that's a 1. That's a 2 in the corner. I feel like singing for it, but I won't. I won't subject you to it. This is a middly. So let's just take a quick audit of this box. Does that look correct? I think it's all right. So I've done box 6. And I suppose I know what these digits are. These are the digits 3, 5 and 7. They're all odd. And this one has to be green in order to put a green in that little 2x2. So this is now a 3, 7 up here. This one has to be, yeah, we're going to get a 3 here. That one's got to be high, otherwise we have no high in that 2x2. And that makes that one 3, which is blue, and that's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Wow, it's a really interesting puzzle, this. It's quite unusual, the logic, but I'm enjoying it mightily. Now, where do we look next, do you think? I've got a horrible feeling I've got to do bad sudoku over here. But that might not be true. Or it's going to be something hid. Oh, that can't be a 7 anymore, look. So that's 8 or 9. Okay, if that was 6, it would be jolly useful. Right, I should think... Oh, that can't be 6, because this has gone up. Once this couldn't be 6, that couldn't... Once this couldn't be 5 and went up to 6, this is now bigger than 6, demonstrably by thermologic. So this is 7 or 8 and is high. And now these two, look, have got to be one of each, which is nearly interesting. Because the only thing that could be would be 6, because it would see 4 and 5. 6. No, that doesn't work. That's weird. Okay, this is not 6 though, I don't think. Yeah, so what I'm saying is, in that 2x2, the only way this can be green is if it's 6, because it sees 5 and 4. But if this is 6, that's 8, and that's 7. But then that has to be lower than 7 and has to be 6. I get 2 6s in the column. It just doesn't work. So that's not 8. So that's green, definitely. And this is blue, definitely. And unfortunately, we don't know... Well, we know that's 5 or 6, actually. And there has to be a middly on there. But there could be 2 middlies. There has to be a middly in here. Again, it's really difficult because you don't know. That white dot needs to have an odd digit on it. That is not a 1, 3 or a 9. So it is a 5 or a 7 accompanying a 4, 6 or an 8. That's a terrible piece of pencil marking again. And I'm not allowed, am I, to look at these together as a little congregation. Because that only part of that is in a red cage. So, okay, so I've just got to ignore that, I think. Now, that is definitely blue. Oh, that's a 2. Ah. So that's a 2. Right, that's good. That's another win for the goodies. We'll take that. This digit is now, do we know? We don't. I mean, I know obviously it's one of these two, but it's the usual difficulty we're going to have in knowing its exact nature. 2. That's a 2 by Sudoku. Right. So that's a 2 by Sudoku. I didn't use the red cagey thing. I just used Sudoku. I've got loads of 2s actually. Yeah, that's a 2. I think that might be all the 2s. Right, let's just make them all blue. Let's not beat around the bush. We're going to make them all blue. So the whole of row 1 now is oranges and greens. Okay. I don't know how to do that. If that was a 4, that would be 6. This would be 7, 8. But that would be middly, so that would work, I think. If this is 3, that would have to be 6 then, because we'd need a middly in there. And then there's a temptation to view this as sort of a Windoku box, isn't there, and try and do Sudoku between those 2 digits, but that's definitely nonsense. Okay, I'm not sure where to look now. Can I do... Wow, I don't know. I really don't know where to look. What do you think we have to do? I've got no idea. I've got absolutely no idea. Is it Sudoku? Yeah, okay, we can do a bit of Sudoku. Where's 4 in box 2? I don't really know. But it seems to have to be in one of those 2 cells. And now where's 4 in box 5? It's in one of those 2 cells. Which is interesting. Yeah, okay. And now where's 3? Where's 3 in box 2? I don't know, but it seems to have to be in one of those cells. And now where's 3 in box 5? And the answer is there. So that is a 3-4 pair, which is quite extraordinary. This doesn't mean I know the colours. One is low, one is middly. Right, where's 9 in column 4 now? It's not there because of that 9. It's not there because of that 9, so it is at the bottom, and at least that gives me its colour. So I know that's right, and now I know that is green, which is 5 or 6 then, because it sees 4. So I've got all my greens in this row, so both of those are now orange, and they are a 7-9 pair definitively. Right, this needs to be a green, because otherwise I've got a green problem in that 2 by 2. So that's also 5 or 6. And okay, so now this is 8. It sees a 5-6 pair in its row, and that's rather lovely. This one needs a high digit in it, so it's going to have to go there, and it's the only high digit available is 7. So that is not a high digit. That's another green digit, and that's a 5 or a 6. Now I've got a 5-6 pair in column 4. So that digit's probably interesting. Oh, 7 or 8. Well, we know it's colour. I'm not averse to colouring it, even though it's not. I can't use that little 2 by 2 because some of it's not in the red cage. No, I can't use that one. I need, yeah, lovely. Right, look at these 2 by 2s. They neither of them have a green, but I've only got one more green to put in. So the only way of satisfying a green in there and a green in here is to put the green exactly there. So that's right, that's really interesting, because now I've got a 5-6 pair in this column, and that's going to have an impact up here, look. Well, I thought it would have an impact up there. That's rotten. That doesn't seem to work, does it? Okay. No, and I can't disambiguate this. Oh, I know what these digits are though. 3 and 8. Okay, 3 and 8 into these cells. And presumably... No, presumably nothing. I don't think we know. Oh dear. Oh well, that was a little bit exciting for a moment or two, wasn't it? What's that done for us? Has it done anything super? We could ask about... Golly, I don't know. I don't know, I really don't know actually. Is this obvious? Probably is. Okay. I really am not sure where to direct my attention. If that was 4, 5, would that give us a 4 here? Would we care? Or is it maybe it's something to do with this box? Do know quite a lot about this box. Where? No, that doesn't work. I was going to say where's 6 in the box, but I don't think that's the clever question. Or is it ones? Do we know a lot more about ones than I think we do? No, I don't think that's it. I'd love to know the order of this. I think that's probably very important. But how are we going to do that? I don't know. 7? 8, is it? Nearly. 8's nearly restricted. No, okay, I'm not sure. It's probably... Oh, I know what it is. I've got it. And it's lovely. And that's perfect. So Bridget comes up trumps again, because the logic is not... It's not complicated once you look in the right place. So look here. There has to be a green, and it can't be a 5 or a 6, so it's a 4. And there's a 4 here, so we know where it goes. That's gorgeous. Now, what does that mean, though? I want to say that means that's not a 4, but it definitely doesn't mean that. Okay, that means this is a 4. So that's definitely a green digit. So this is no longer a 4. So this is no longer a 5. The odd digit on here is now definitely 7, isn't it? So it's a 7 with a 6 or an 8. And we've got a 7 here. Oh, nearly. So the 7 is in box 2, is in one of 2 places. The colour of this is, I don't think... Well, I do know it's not green, I suppose. So it's either a blue 1, 3, or it's an orange 8, 9. Do we care? Well, we sort of do care, but... So it's 1, 3, 8, or 9. And it's either blue or orange. Now down here we do need to have a high digit. So how are we going to do that? This digit is definitely not green again. So that's also blue or orange. If it was orange, it could be 7 or 9. And if it's green, it has to be 3. Maybe that's an issue. So it's either 3 or it's 7 or 9. Now, and if it was 3, that would have to be a 7 then, wouldn't it? And that would have to be a 4. I can't see if there's a problem with that. 4 is nearly restricted in box 4 by Sudoku, by this 4. No, I don't see I can't see how to resolve that. if that's, no, that's wrong. No, we're not going to say wrong things, Simon. Come on. Oh, okay. That must mean it's 5 o'clock on my watch buzzes at 5 o'clock. I don't know why that is, but it does. So 5 in this box. Where's that going? And rather weirdly, it goes in the corner. I'm going to claim. And that's done it. It was that simple, because that 5 in the corner now means I need 6, 7 and 8 in the row, and this digit can't be 8 by Sudoku again. So that means, in theory, it's 6 or 7, but I know there's a 7 on my white dot, and there's an 8 on my white dot, and that's absolutely massive, because now that's got to be a 6, that's got to be green, this is now a 9 of all things, this is now not 9 or 8, so it is low. Which probably does something. Well, it gives me this digit. That's a 6 by Sudoku. That's big. That's a big digit, because that 6 means that's a 6 and that's an 8, which is more lovely colouring unwound. This is now a 5. So that's a 6, that's a 5, that's a 5, that's a 6, that's a 5, that's a 6. This is good stuff. Okay. Now what do? We probably can do other stuff here. No, well, where's 6 actually? In box 5. It's got to go there. Let's make it green. Okay. This 8 means this is 7, doesn't it? So that has to be 6 to be lower than it. And now this has to be 3, because otherwise this would add up to too much. And that's gorgeous. So now we know that's blue. We know that's middly. Let's check we've got the right. We haven't put a high into that 2 by 2. So that makes this. Oh, it does. We don't know what it is. We just know it's high. We know it's not 3. So we knew it wasn't 3 because of this, so we know that's a 4, we know that's a 4. Feels like all the 4s are done in the puzzle. And that 9 is lovely. That gives us 9 here and 7 here. That gives us 7 here and 8 here. That gives us 8 here and 3 here. We know 8s and 7s are always high. We know 6s are always green. We know 3s are always blue. That 3 is lovely. So this is a 3, this is a 1. In this column we haven't put in a 5 by the looks of things. Does that look right? I think so. This is a 9. That's an 8. I think we're there. I mean, it's possible I've missed something, but it doesn't look like there's any more rinky-dinkage to figure out, does it? So we ought to be okay. We can write 8 here, 1 here. We need these to be 3 and 7, which we can fill in. Sudoku looks like it's working in this part of the woods, so we'll hope that that continues. 7 is here by Sudoku. That's definitely not a 7. 3 seems to have to be here by Sudoku. Again, that's a blue digit. We've got to put... Right, what do we need to put in here? 1, 8, 9. So we can do the 9. We can do the 8. We can do the 1. We can do the 1 right in the middle of the puzzle. And we need 5 and 9 in the middle. So 5 and 9 go in. 9s and 8s are all orange. 1s are all blue. And a 5 is a green. And that might be the solution to the puzzle. Yes. Wow. That's a really clever puzzle. And actually, I really liked it because it didn't require long chaining once you saw the logic the way it was intended. And that's the thing about a great puzzle. And a lot of the difference between human-made puzzles and machine-made puzzles is once I looked in the right place, and it was blaringly obvious where I was meant to look, I just failed to do it. Once I looked here, for example, it was quite clear that had to be high. And once that had to be high, that had to be low, etc. And it all just flowed. And it was really very unusual. and very clever, and I enjoyed it mightily. So Bridget, thank you very much for setting that one. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.